Yep, it's that time again, Thursday night. And, we start something funny with this cold opening, but all I can say tonight is all by myself. Okay, that's enough of my singing. Let's get into the show, everybody. And we will start with the usual.
And now, on with the show.
Time for bladder check. Check.
Check.
Check. Wait. Screw it, I'm holding it.
It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men.
Brown Squadron.
Podcasting, the final audio frontier. These are the legends of Brown Squadron.
Our computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
The ongoing mission? To explore the Star Wars universe and other nerd culture topics. To seek new content and new cantinas, bars, and lounges. To boldly annoy Scruffy by making too many bad jokes. Welcome to the Hyperspace Heroes Podcast.
All right, and welcome to Hyperspace Heroes. This is Brown Leader, flying solo tonight, and but we've got a special guest here we're going to bring on in just a minute. But yeah, just me tonight. DB is doing cheer stuff. So where we live in northern Michigan, it is our annual Cherry Festival, and DB is doing cheer dad duty. Brownie 4 and her whole troop are in our what used to be called our Junior Royale Parade. I don't remember what they're calling it now, but they're in that. So he's supporting his daughter, and Scruffy is once again hunting loons tonight. So he is on special assignment, so he will not be on. So you guys are stuck with me, but we've got a special guest on tonight. And I want to give kind of a warning for everybody that usually listens to the show. This is probably going to be an episode that you would like to end up watching. So you can watch the replay on YouTube, X, and Facebook. That is where we broadcast live to every Thursday night at 8 p.m. And because we're going to have an artist on tonight that works in the visual realm. So it's going to be a very visual show tonight. And when you get rolling, jump in the comments like you guys usually do. And we've already got a couple comments rolling in from Vincent at Carbonites. Welcome back to DB After Dark. Not quite DB After Dark, BL After Dark maybe. And then of course throwing in the obligatory smash that like button. Yes, Vincent, thank you for that reminder. And speaking of Vincent, that's a really great transition. Want to throw out a little bit of news really quick. So we just got word today, July 3rd, 2025, HoliznaCCO has announced that vendor and artist tables, Vincent, go on sale tomorrow, the 4th of July, noon Central. Of course, and from what I understand, it's going to be taking place at the Embassy Suites again, down in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So you definitely, all you vendors and artists that watch the show, definitely want to chime in or get a chance to get your table. They did sell out last year, and they will be most likely selling out again. And it's a great venue. We had a lot of fun. Watch all of our recap stuff, and you can catch up on that. And then the other part of that is tickets go on sale the 6th of July at noon Central. So mark your calendars, get everything ready, and we are going to, that's right, Vincent, let's go. So get your stuff ready for HoliznaCCO. It's going to be, they have not officially announced the dates, but we got a little inside peek, and we're looking at, don't tell anybody, but June next year, probably around the 3rd weekend. Somewhere thereabouts. So you can kind of set your calendar there. I'm sure that information will be available tomorrow when everything goes live. But we got a little inside scoop on that one, and wanted to throw that out to everybody so you can start planning, because we like to see all of our friends there. So Okay, so this is kind of a big collection corner episode tonight, and the whole show is going to be that because we have an artist on tonight that we're going to feature. My mother-in-law, actually, she knows that we do this show, and she sent me a Facebook post, and I will show you. I can actually show you part of that post so that we can kind of get the ball rolling on this. And so she sent me a post that had this picture in it, and this is known as Hopi R2, and I was very enraptured by it and really caught my interest. So I became the social media stalker, and I needed to find the artist, and that is who we have on tonight. We have the artist of Hopi R2 and a bunch of other very, very cool art that we're going to go through or show during the show and meet the artist. And he is he's gonna kill me because I just asked him too. How do you pronounce this? And it's no, he's a Hopi and Tewa. I believe it's Tewa, Native American. For those that are not familiar, that is down kind of in the southwest area, Arizona, New Mexico, I believe, is where those tribes reside. And we have the artist Duane Koyawena is going to be on the show tonight, and he's given me the nod saying I pronounced it right, so I appreciate that. But yeah, let's bring him onto the show right now. Duane, welcome.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
I got my partner here, Samantha Honanie.
Samantha, welcome. How are you?
She's a big part of a lot of what I do.
Okay, very cool. Two for the price of one. Love it. All right. So
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, both of you. And so as I was kind of talking about, you're an artist down in the Southwest. Is it? I think most of your posts. Are you in Arizona?
Yeah, I'm in Flagstaff, Arizona. That's where we're at.
Okay. Very cool. And so we'll just get right into the questions, then we'll start showing off some of your art. But for those that I just showed the Hopi R2. Duane also does a lot of traditional Native art, and he also does some Star Wars influenced art in his traditional styles, and that's what really made me want to reach out. And so obviously a big Star Wars fan. If you're infusing it into your art, I can only imagine. So first question we usually launch off with is, what does Star Wars mean to you?
Star Wars to me, I mean, we were talking about it this morning. I was like, what does Star Wars mean to me? And I think, I mean, the big part that sticks out is just kind of like the rebellion and versus the Empire. Really trying to basically like kind of find that balance in life, not just letting the Empire rule and dominate. And the rebels are there trying to put their foot in and trying to just basically come with that, I guess, good life and bring in that hope for a good future and whatnot. So I think, I mean, really thinking about it, I think that's kind of what it means to me. I think the battle between good and evil.
Okay, right on. No, very cool. And what's your first Star Wars experience or your first memory?
Man, again, we were having this discussion this morning before Sam went to work, and I was like, man, I can't really remember. And she was asking me, she's like, did you come from a Star Wars family? And I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't think so. I have my older sister who is a big Star Wars fan, but I don't think we really came to it until we got a little bit older and really started, really focusing on, everything about Star Wars. So I said, yeah, I don't think I do. But I mean, my first memory I can really recall, and I remember listening to Jon Favreau on an interview, and he was talking about when the Star Destroyer, I can't remember if it's on New Hope or The Empire Strikes Back, but the Star Destroyer kind of comes over the screen and you basically see the bottom of it. And I mean, just seeing that was just a big eye opener. And I think a lot of the TIE fighters, I'm a big TIE fighter fan, and just hearing the sounds and just I think the music going along with it, with the Empire and just that Star Destroyer coming over, I would have to say that's probably one of the biggest things that really caught my eye, and I would say one of the first memories of Star Wars.
Rock on. Yeah, that so that's the opening shot of A New Hope. And yeah, for sure. That is I think that's the shot that really converted a lot of people into Star Wars fans, because when you're sitting in the theater and you just watch it and you hear the noise, you hear the sound, and I mean it was unlike anything, we had seen in media at that time. And yeah, the story, the story of Star Wars, it goes back to classic tales of good versus evil, like you talked about, the hero's journey with Luke, and it's kind of a Lucas was creating a mythology, right? Which appeals to a lot of people, and it's that traditional good versus evil mythology, and overcoming everything and overcoming the hardships and so on for success. And so right on. So when I was stalking you online to get you onto the show here, I was looking it up, and I read that you're self-taught with your art.
Yeah, I get that question a lot. I do. Lately, I've been doing a lot of murals, and I've kind of tapped into a lot of different mediums. And the question comes out like usually when I'm at a show or somewhere, and they ask if I've gone to school. And no, the answer is no. And yeah, I'm self-taught. My father was a really good artist, and I recall at a young age just asking him to draw certain things, or if there was something I needed for like school or something, he would help me out. And I think also another memory is I grew up on an Air Force base.
Okay.
We used to wait for my mom to get off work, and the flight line on the Air Force base was like really close. So I used to love jets, and he would take me over there, and he would tell me which one. He's like, pick which one, and he would sit there and sketch one of the jets that were in front of us, and just kind of, I guess, really admiring and really wanting to, I guess, accumulate the skill that he had. And I guess, yeah, it just landed with me. And at a young age, I started doing art. And then I just recall middle school and high school doing projects. And yeah, and then I guess as I got older, a lot of people were encouraged me to get my artwork out there. And of course, a lot of stuff went one year out the other, and I was like, yeah, right, I'm not good. There's a lot of people way above me, and just doubting myself. But yeah, I just started really plugging that scene and the art world, and kind of made my mark. So yeah, self-taught and just kind of just driven, I think, is what really got me to where I'm at today.
That's awesome. And that's very cool to hear that you kind of grew up on a flight line. My dad's a pilot, and when I was a little kid, when I was lucky, when I was like 3 and 4, he used to fly 5 days a week, and I could go with him, and I rode co-pilot with him 5 days a week. Yeah, this was back in the late 70s. And so I grew up running up and down flight lines. So I know what you're talking about. And there's just something about that atmosphere that is very enrapturing. So yeah, no, that's very cool. That's very, very cool.
That's one of the biggest things too, like Samantha and I have in common, was her father was in the Air Force as well. And we share a lot of things in common as far as growing up on Air Force base and jets and all that whole scene. So
that's cool.
It was a big connection there. Right
on. Samantha, thank you for joining us today. And wanted to since he's brought you into the show with you as his cohort in crime, what how do you help him? How do you assist him with the art?
Yeah, so I've been working with Duane for a really long time. Just kind of a lot of the writing portion. of his artwork. That's what my background is, and doing quite a bit of that. But then also being someone who's there as support, who kind of understands more insight. I work at a museum, and specifically what we've been doing lately is a lot of collaborative work on the exhibit, The Return of the Force, which features Native American artists focusing on Star Wars. And for me, it's been highly rewarding because I grew up with Star Wars. My dad was a huge Star Wars fan, someone born in the 60s. He loved it, and he shared that love with us, and that connection to kind of like the science fiction and the technology, you know, growing up on an Air Force base. And I think that was what really resonated with me. When we had the opportunity to kind of combine like our perspectives and our appreciation and bring our culture into it. You know, I'm not an artist, but I am someone who is a writer. So being able to kind of bring that, I guess, bit of skill to the exhibit, and then kind of also help support Duane in the work that he does. It's been incredibly rewarding. So for the exhibit, kind of behind the scenes person, logistics, paperwork, writing, scheduling. So I think that's been kind of the way that I've been able to contribute to the exhibition as well. And yeah, it's been great.
Oh, that's very cool. And so then as a Star Wars fan, I get to ask you then, what does Star Wars mean to you?
I think Star Wars means a lot to me. So it's definitely the points that Duane kind of brought up between the light and the dark, but also kind of the exploration of like culture and the wider world, like the idea of infinite possibilities. I think those have all been things that I've really appreciated as new Star Wars content has been created. The inclusion of characters who are really strong, like Rey, but then even like cool ones like Grogu. I know that's one that's been really popular recently. And I think my all-time favorite will always be Ewoks because I relate to them. I'm short and I'm kind of like I don't know, like an Ewok, so I have a lot of those traits. I just appreciate them so much. And then like the idea of like their community and like how they live and their culture being like similar to like our Hopi culture. So I don't know, just kind of those things I'm able to relate to. And yeah, I love Ewoks.
That's awesome. Yeah, we are big fans of Ewoks on this show. We affectionately call them murder bears because because they're so fierce. So then what's your first memory or experience of Star Wars that you recall?
I think my first memory being sitting down with my dad and being able to watch the videos and like them being, I don't know, kind of like something that my mind hadn't really explored. And as of course, it's a special time because you're sharing that time with family, but then your world just opening up. You're like seeing the title screen, and as the words are scrolling on the page, and you're, oh my gosh, like having that sense of wonder and awe. And I think that's my earliest memory. And then when the new movies came out, being able to go see them in the theaters and experience them firsthand as a family, getting to appreciate the new characters, I thought that was really something that bonded us as well.
Yeah. If anything, Star Wars is family, right? I mean, it's in the movies, it's found family, and for us as fans, yeah, my poor kids got inducted well into Star Wars as well. So I know I can relate to your dad, for sure. Both your dads on that. Having my son, my youngest he was the perfect Darth, 6 years old Vader walking around on Halloween. And yeah, it was perfect. He was 6 years old wearing an adult sized Darth Vader helmet. I mean, it doesn't get any better. It was before Funko Pops were a thing, right? So he was like a human Funko Pop on that. But no, that's very cool. That's very cool. So I wanted to bring up a comment from Vincent, which was the opening of, kind of goes back to what Duane was talking about. An opening for New Hope is the perfect step into a larger world, a galaxy, for sure. So why the choice to incorporate this? Well, we kind of talked about it, but why did you decide to incorporate that Star Wars into your traditional art style?
It's I guess for me, I mean, looking at I'm 43, so just looking at everything that I grew up with, man. I grew up with Star Wars in my life. I mean, I have a Thundercats sticker on my truck.
Yeah.
Transformers, and we have Nintendos. Samantha got me a Nintendo for my birthday last year.
Right on.
I mean, just looking at all the stuff that I grew up with, Star Wars being one of them, and a big attraction to myself in a lot of different perspectives. So, I mean, some people kind of question it from my tribe. You know, some people don't really see it, but when I express this, what I'm talking about, and the things I grew up with, today I can see similarities with, I mean, just like for an example, the Force and the dark side. In my life, I grew up with definitely a dark side, but eventually, you know, found the Force and really started to take off and really do my thing. I had a dark period in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's one thing that really relates to me. And just looking further and deeper into it, like there's a lot of deities that we have in our culture that represent the galaxies and the stars. So I've definitely incorporated some of that into my Hopi culture, kind of like making that mix. But I think what is another piece that I've done? Like some of the pottery designs, I've incorporated like the rebel symbol and the imperial symbol in the pottery designs, and just, you know, just really kind of playing with that. One of the images that I really value is so in our culture, the sun is a strong significance to our people, and is definitely like a good positive direction. You know, you pray to the sun for good life, other people's life, to live well, to have a good mind, good heart. So that's the sun. And then it's a circle image. So half of it's the sun, which kind of represents the Force. And then the left side of the circle is split into the Death Star. So that kind of is just like a big symbol as well for myself. But I mean, looking at like also the landscape where we come from, I caught a picture in the evening of my village, and there's another village that's next to my village on mesas, and the moon was kind of coming up, and I took this picture, and man, it could definitely fit in Tatooine for sure. So that's kind of just some of the concepts that I've incorporated. Like Sam was saying, Ewoks, you know, what did you call them? The
murder bears.
So you know, just looking at like kind of how they carry themselves as like little like warriors, and
Mm-hmm.
they have their staffs and their weapons that they use. Sam likes Ewoks, like she said. So this past exhibit that we did, I wanted to put another skateboard. I've done a skateboard once before, and it sold, and so I did a new skateboard, and I gifted it to Sam, and it's an Ewok holding a rabbit stick, a Hopi rabbit stick, and that's kind of like a hunting mechanism, the rabbit sticks that they use to gather meat back in the day and those kind of things. So I have him holding a rabbit stick in the Endor scene.
Oh, that's cool.
So, but yeah, that's kind of just in a nutshell. I think we did a write-up for Hopi R2, and it was actually a little interview. You can find it on YouTube if you look up Hopi R2, and I believe it's what was the title of it? The Who is Your Droid?
Yeah.
I think it's titled like Who is Your Droid? And I basically explain droids as like support in life. Like I said, I went through a dark period in my life and I needed that support. Samantha supports me and my art. There's a lot of fans that support me. So of course I say it's not just me. There's a lot of support. And I kind of look at droids as that support, and just looking at Return of the Jedi when R2's there and shoots out that lightsaber to Luke to get, and he's able to like help him out. And then I believe I get them mixed up sometimes. New Hope, where they're in the trash bin, and the walls are closing in, and the only person that can give that assistance is R2, and R2 is on the other side of the destroyer, and he's able to plug in and stop those walls and help him. So I think in that context, like it's like droids are definitely like that support and help you get to where you need to or accomplish what you need to. They're just there to kind of assist and help. So that's one thing that I really kind of got out of especially when we dove into Hopi R2.
That's cool. That's very cool. Very, very cool. What and I probably should have done this more at the beginning of the show, but can you tell us a little bit about your tribes, the Hopi and the Tewa, in terms of, you guys are located in the Southwest, correct? And what's kind of a quick little nutshell kind of history about the Hopi and the Tewa?
Man, our history goes back like thousands of years. And we migrated all throughout Arizona, the Hopi, and our emergence says that we've emerged from the third world into this world that we live in today, at the confluence of the Little Colorado and the Colorado River and the Grand Canyon. And we're basically, when we came into this world that we're living in today, we agreed with our Creator that we would be stewards of the land, taking care of the land. So in that sense, farming, like planting corn and like squash and beans, and a lot of that is what we tend to each year. A lot of what we pray for and hope for is moisture, snow and rain for the lands. Everything is really kind of revolves around that. And of course the women have their duties as well, and assist the males, and the males assist the females. So we weren't really a war tribe. We were kind of like a lot of people know the Hopi as the peaceful ones. And so I would say that's a big, I guess, in a nutshell. I don't know if you have anything to add on that, Sam.
Yeah, I think the focus being that for us as Hopi people, they kind of have the saying, corn is life. So a lot of what our being is about is kinship, family, and we're, I would say, very spiritual people. So we live our lives according to a kind of religious calendar. Different times of the year corresponds to different activities going on. And I think a lot of that influences like who we are as people, because that's a lot of our focus. So in between doing the work on the exhibit, one day we're hanging artwork in a museum, and then the next day we're at our respective villages doing things, or Duane is out in his field. He's a traditional farmer. So I think there are so many different layers to the culture, and that's been a cool thing to be able to discuss with the artists who are in the exhibition, is they have that for themselves as well. So they're, from different tribes throughout the Southwest, and some from other areas, but the main thing being that they have who they are as Native people. That's their identity. But then also a big part of their identity is being participants in popular culture and appreciating popular culture and finding kinship and familiarity and family in kind of the realm of Star Wars too.
That's very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing with me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I wanted to let's go through. You sent me some of your art, and I'll bring some of it up on the screen and let you kind of talk about each piece, and we'll kind of, and then we'll roll into. I want to hear more about Return of the Force. I definitely want to, and we'll bring that up on the screen as well, and definitely want to hear about those kinds of things. So here's some of the stuff that you sent me. So you were talking about murals. You do a lot of murals, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of like, I guess, one of the things, not recently, but kind of recently, of what I wanted to do more of. I think it's really neat to be able to get a wall and really put like, whether it's my Native American culture or just my art in general, and just being able to share it with the public. So that was kind of one thing I really wanted to start leaning towards, and fortunately it's been working out pretty well. This piece was done in Mancos, Colorado, and it's close to Mesa Verde, which is Hopi Trace ancestral site, Mesa Verde, and they wanted to bring like the Native American culture into this town in Mancos. So I was talking with Samantha, and I was like, man, what should I do? And she works at the museum, so there's a lot of pottery from that area that they have there, and it's a lot of black and white. So that's kind of what I landed on, is like, I'll bring some of those pottery designs into this town, and of course they wanted a hummingbird in there as well. So that was kind of the idea of what we did, the concept. And the gentleman to the left, his name is Keith Smith. He's from the Diné tribe, Navajo tribe, and he's one of my favorite artists on canvas. Man, that guy can paint. And he had heard that I was going to be doing a mural in Mancos, Colorado, and he lives in Cortez, which is like 15 minutes away. And he had asked, he's like, I've never done a mural. Do you think I can help you and kind of get the feel of it? So I was like, yeah, sure, man. So he assisted with me. He assisted me on this piece, and just got the feel of it. And it's pretty cool to really share the experience in that way, and hopefully give him that hope to start landing some walls. But like I said, he's an amazing painter on canvas. So I don't know. He enjoyed the time, and it was kind of funny because a lot of people were coming by and asking us if we wanted drinks, and really shouting out like thank you. And the mayor came by, and they bought us like lunch. And he was like, at one point it was him and I, and he's like, man, is this what it's like to do murals? And I was like, yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, a lot of people have that support and have that fire. So it's fun all the way around. So he had a good time. I had a good time, and we were able to bring culture into Mancos, Colorado.
That's very cool, and I love the hummingbird. Hummingbirds are one of my favorites. We get quite a few around here. I've got feeders in the front and the back, and any opportunity to catch a glimpse of one is very cool. Let's see. So we've got this another building, another mural doing two sides of the building.
Yeah, this was in Williams, Arizona, and it actually was from a piece that I think that you have also. But I did a piece in Flagstaff. That one, yeah.
Okay.
I did this piece in Flagstaff, and we had like a little opening. It was a company, a business called Chocolita, and they have the most amazing chocolate in the area, better than Willy Wonka. But but now they have really good chocolate, and in this area they wanted to do a mural, and this square that this mural resides at is owned by Hopi, the Hopi tribe. So they said, if you do a mural, we want a Hopi artist to do the mural. So fortunately, my name has been tossed around, and I'm kind of getting out there as a muralist as well. So the gal that owns the chocolate shop, her name is Sarah. She reached out to me and asked if I'd be up for the mural, and of course I was hands down. You know, I wanna make the impact. I want to bring culture, Hopi culture, into Flagstaff, and bring be able to educate people and bring the awareness to our tribe. So of course I was like, yes, I'll do it. And so it was a good time. We had a good opening once the mural was finished, and then the other one that you were showing, there was people that attended that. It was kind of like an opening, and they wanted their Airbnb in Williams in the same concept, but they wanted butterflies on there. So if you're able to look kind of closely, I was able to put some shadows in there and kind of elevate those butterflies, kind of make them look like they're sitting like on the building as well. So
it does actually. I when I first saw the picture, the one on the bottom right, I thought was actually like out, you know, like more of a 3D effect, and it was actually something on top of the mural.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
This piece was pretty crazy because I did it in the winter, and I had a friend by the name of Yancy. He helped me on the other one, and he helped me on this one. But this one we did in the winter, and I think the warmest it got was probably maybe 40 degrees.
Ooh.
But every time it was like under, and I had like hand warmers in my shoes and in my hands. I had gloves, and we were like bundled up. And I was like, I think it's because they wanted it done, and unfortunately it was done at a cold time. And man, this was definitely an experience. It was so cold. So, but we got it done. The challenge was accepted, and we got it done. So,
right on.
And yeah, and Yancy, the one who helped me, is also in the exhibit.
All right, let's. And who doesn't want a good pair of Nikes, right?
Yeah. This was actually done for a shoe shop here in Flagstaff, and they're pitching it to Nike because they wanted to bring Nikes into their shop. And so they did a little bit on it, and it came out really cool. But I think shoes was probably one of the first things that really started getting me exposure. Back in the day, Facebook really didn't have like filters, where nowadays you kind of have to pay money to boost your posts, and you know, then it goes out. But before those boosts, it was just flying left and right. So I recall getting a blank pair of Toms, and I looked at it as a canvas, started painting on them. And for a good while in the beginning, I felt like I was the only person in the world doing shoes. But I was like, they're like, I Googled like shoe art, and I mean, there's shoe artists all over. And but for whatever reason, in this area, in this region, people were hitting me up left and right. I think I've done shoes from like Europe to Tokyo, and just all over the US. And yeah, people would ask me to do certain themes, whether it was characters, or if they wanted Native American stuff, like this shoe right here. But yeah, it was definitely a catapult for my art career. And so I still do them today, but not as much. People ask me here and there. I actually have one pair I need to do. I'm trying to fit that in my schedule. I'm actually in a place where I'm doing a mural, so I gotta do this interview real quick.
All right, let's. We should looked at that one. This one.
Yeah, this one was done at the what is it?
Verde Valley Archaeology Center.
The Verde Valley Archaeology Center. And there is a lot of Hopi traces in this region in Camp Verde, Arizona, which I actually didn't know about till I started working on this piece and talking to the director, and he was there to kind of show me some things, and I was really in awe. And then that really opened my eyes to look at further history of how far Hopi was in Arizona. And like I said, it was, I mean, majority of Arizona, but the trace, I mean, of Hopi culture, you know, goes from like Mexico to like South America and different areas, and this being one of them. So they wanted a Hopi piece, and this is probably one of the biggest pieces I've done. It was it measured about 50 feet from end to end, and it was about, like, I would say 11 feet high. So I was on a scissor lift the whole time, and
Wow.
yeah, I was able to do this piece, and was pretty happy with it, and well, yeah, it was a good time.
Now, when you do the murals, they're, you know, the walls, and how much do you sketch it out ahead of time? You know, what's kind of your planning process, and how long does it usually take for you to kind of plan out a mural?
Yeah, I'm kind of old school still, so I sketch them out.
Yeah.
I've been trying to build myself up to learn the iPad Pro and all that, but I'm like, man, like I got to learn this whole new thing. So, but
Yeah.
I think it definitely will benefit me for like murals and giving out those visuals, and so I think I'm gonna have to learn. But normally, I just get a piece of paper and I sketch it out and get it to the liking of where it's gonna go, and that's kind of the process. And if it's, and I'm fingers crossed that first sketch is gonna be the one, because if it's not, then I'm having to re-sketch or do something again. So that's where I think the iPad definitely would benefit me, because you can make those changes pretty easy on the iPad. But
Yeah. No, well, but there's something to be said about the traditional methods, right? I mean, you know, the good old yeah, absolutely. So I get you. I feel that. Okay, let's so we're getting into some your looks like merchandising.
yeah, again, like I talk to a lot of kids about you know, art and just marketing and networking and just really pushing. And so, like I said, with murals, my name kind of gets tossed around, and then every now and then something like this opportunity comes up. Canyon Coolers is local here in Flagstaff, and just like a Yeti, Hydro Flask, these items are insulated and really nice. And they asked me if I'd be interested in coming up with a design for their products. And so we did this, and they've been pretty popular lately. Been selling in like New Mexico and some of the areas. Some people will be like, my cousins will be like, hey, I saw your cups and your bottles in this place. And I'll be like, wow. But locally, they sell them in REI over here in Flagstaff. So it's definitely exposure. And again, like I said, just being able to bring the awareness to our tribe and just kind of celebrate it in that way. So it's been really fun, and just seeing like a lot of people out and where we're from, they have them, or you know, that it's pretty neat to see them like at like the hospital that we go to in Tuba City. You know, we'll see like Sam will be like, hey, look at her bottle, and I'll be like, I'll look and be like, oh man, that's one of my bottles. So it's pretty neat. It's fun. So.
Oh yeah, when you breathe life into something and you see it out there in the world, it's a magical feeling for sure.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Right on. Okay, so let's get into some of the Star Wars related, which is what a lot of our viewers and our listeners are definitely interested in. And I'm going to start with kind of what we talked about earlier, and I showed it at the beginning of the show. But Hopi R2, tell me about Hopi R2.
Man, so real quick, the girls in the picture is the one that's the taller one is my daughter. Her name is Peyton Koyawena, And then my good friend Ryan Geshwisilma, that's his daughter. So I had the idea to dress them up traditionally and put their hair up traditionally and bully any butterfly whirls and have them with Hopi Artu. So and we also did one with his son. There's another picture that we have as well. But going into Hopi Artu, going back to 2019, 2019 at the Museum of Northern Arizona, a gentleman that still works there, his name is Tony Thibodeau, had this idea of doing a Star Wars exhibit with Native American artists who were doing Star Wars art and including their tribal affiliations in incorporating it together. He wanted to get artists from the Colorado Plateau here in this region that were already doing Star Wars art, not like hitting up a new artist and saying, hey, can you do Star Wars art with your culture? But he wanted to get people who were already doing it, who were already invested and kind of like already big fans as well. So he reached out to a lot of artists and he got this exhibit together. Definitely was a very successful exhibit. We had people from all over schools, and one of the ideas that popped in was they wanted to get an R2 unit there. And so they did their research and they saw how much they were, and they were like, I don't know if we have that kind of money. So one of the marketing director, her name is Kristen. She her husband is an electrical engineer, and she leaned on him and said, hey, do you think you could build one of these R2 units? So he did his research and he found the R2D2 Builders Club. And he started telling me about the process that people manufacture parts from all over the area, and got all the pieces together. When I take it to the schools, I always give the analogy of, a Lego set. I ask them, do you ever put Legos together? They're like, yeah. And I say, what comes with Legos? They say, all the pieces and instructions come with it. And I said, yeah. So this R2 unit was not like a Lego set. He had to find all the pieces, and he definitely had no instructions and had to figure out how to put it together. So we put it together, and he had told me he was going to build one. We became good friends, and he said, hey, would you paint this R2 unit? And at first I was like, yeah, right. You're not going to build an R2 unit, whatever. And I didn't believe it till I saw it, and he came out with the dome. And I was like, oh man, this guy's serious. He is going to build an R2 unit. So I had to figure out how to paint it. And since it was a Native American Star Wars exhibit, I had to really think about how I wanted to do it. And so the idea came from a skateboard that I had done before that, and I painted it like Hopi pottery, and a lot of people thought it was actually like clay. And so when I thought about that, I was like, man, maybe I can make this R2 unit look like pottery. So that was the key, and that's what I jumped on, and we went at it. And as Joe was building it, Joe Mesturani is the engineer who built it. He said halfway through, I was eating dinner at his house, and he's like, man, I'm about to throw this thing away. He was so frustrated, and I was just chuckling because I had an experience of doing a big painting that took me like 6 years. And I was like, man, I was ready to quit because there was a lot of perspectives that I wasn't familiar with then. But at the end, I finished it, and I knew a lot of people were going to come see it. And that's what happened. A lot of people wanted to see it and made a lot of people happy with the piece. That's what I told Joe. I was like, man, when you finish this thing, we're gonna do some things. So he finished it. It took him about a year to build, and then it took me about 3 months to paint. And once we finished, we got it to the museum. It's programmed to a PS4 remote. So we move him around the PS4 remote, and we have an app from the R2D2 Builders Club that controls all his functions, like his panels, his sounds, and all his lights. So that's the whole birth of R2, Hopi R2.
That's awesome. That's very cool. Thank you for sharing that story. Yeah, the droid builders are something else, aren't they? You go to any convention and you see they'll usually have a whole area, and it's crazy, just crazy the work that goes into those things.
Yeah, one of the cool things too is we were invited to California, to Burbank, to the Autry Museum, and word got out that we were bringing Hopi R2, and the museum, what is it called? The Lucas Museum that's being built in LA.
Mm-hmm.
People found out, and then also they connected with Skywalker Ranch, and a lot of those people came out. So they asked if we would present to them early morning on Saturday when we were there, and I was so excited, and Joe was excited. We were all excited, but man, they were floored. And the way we talk about our droid is that we say it's the first indigenous droid in the galaxy. So,
right on.
They love that, and man, it was a big hit, and so it was pretty neat to share with them. And I have prints that I sell, and one of the ladies that's pretty tight with Mr. George Lucas, she bought an extra one, and she had us sign them, and she said this one's going to George. So
that's awesome.
Hopefully somewhere in his office or wherever that image of Hopi R2 is there.
That's very cool. Very, very cool. That's awesome. What an honor. That's very cool. Okay, so I think this is a brand or newer piece of yours, because I think I saw a post not too long ago when you started working on it, but it's a Ralph McQuarrie Darth Vader.
Yeah. So I got a friend, he's his Instagram is the Clan Shroud. I think that's what it is. The Mando Clan Shroud is what it is.
Okay.
At Mando Clan Shroud. So his name is John, and I met him down the line. He has a clan of Mandalorians, and he used to work for Disney World and used to make a lot of props. And he left Disney World, and he actually made me a Mando helmet that I need to paint. He made me one that I can wear. And so when we were at the exhibit, a gentleman that lived in Tucson, who works with Rancho Obi-Wan, who is owned by Steve Sansweet, the biggest Star Wars collector. I guess his birthday was coming up, and this gentleman by the name of Rich, who works with Obi-Wan that lives in Tucson, reached out. And there's actually a blog going on. If you look at Rancho Obi-Wan, he did an interview with Samantha and I, and there's blogs that are coming out that he's gathered and put together. And he asked if I ever would do a helmet. So he asked if I knew anybody, so I hooked him up with my friend John, who also lives in Tucson, and they came up with a Vader. And I didn't know they were going to do the Ralph McQuarrie Vader. And when they started showing me, I was like, oh man, it was pretty neat. And we were going to gift this to Steve Sansweet for his birthday. I believe his 80th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So he's seen a Vader that I've done before, and in the same style. And again, it's shooting for the Hopi pottery style.
Yeah.
And we landed it. The thing was so huge on my table, like the hood, and I was putting it on and wearing it, and
as you should. Yeah.
I had to do it. I was trying to get Sam to do it, but she wouldn't do it. But it was pretty cool. It was a pretty neat opportunity, hooking up with Rancho Obi-Wan and learning a little bit about Mr. Sansweet and connecting there. So it was, John, the guy from the Mando clan shroud. I mean, it was a good opportunity for him as well. So he was very appreciative of the connection. So it was a all win-win. And yeah, it was, I mean, Star Wars again. So, I mean.
And I was at Tempe Center for the Arts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay. I'm going to bring up your Instagram here, and we'll talk about that, and we'll roll into Return of the Force, because definitely want to hear more about that before we wrap things up. And let me do my old man thing of clumsily working technology. And you're not the only one. So I feel you, brother.
So much better.
All right. So I had scrolled down a little bit just because I love this Scout Trooper. Oh my goodness. And I don't know is that showing up on the screen? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
That's just amazing. Just absolutely. Scout Troopers are one of my favorites. You know, in terms of Stormtrooper design. And this other one, I'm a Boba Fett guy. So that's cool. Is that anything I can find somewhere? Because
this is I connected with I mean, they reached out to me, and I was floored because I knew of NTVS, Natives Original. They're on Instagram, NTVS, and when they reached out to me, I was like in awe because I knew of their platform, and they wanted to work on this piece. This was the first piece that we did, and it came from a pottery design that I had. And the gentleman, his name is Aaron, he had said, I see a Mandalorian in your design. So he tweaked it up to where he showed me. And man, it was really cool. It landed. I liked it. We all liked it, and then we started talking colors. We tweaked colors and put designs on the sleeves, and we did a launch. He did a launch on his page, NTVS, and there was a countdown for it. And when they sold, he did a run, and he said the large run that he did sold out in 8 minutes.
I believe it.
And I was like, what? Like, I was amazed. And so they're limited pieces, unfortunately. And, we've worked on a Vader as well, a Vader image, and I believe that might be on the Instagram as well, right there. Yeah, we worked on that. We did windbreakers and sweaters as well. Same thing. Was a big success, and so we did this one, and also a Stormtrooper windbreaker.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that.
I don't know if that one's in there as well. That was good, and then recently we just there's a Stormtrooper design, and we did this one, and then recently we just did the R2 Hopi R2 design, and I think that's towards the top.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I like that. I love that design. That is such a great design.
So it was pretty neat to be able to incorporate the Hopi language in there. It basically translates to may the strength. May the strength be with you.
Oh, okay.
Your strength be with you.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Well, you definitely gotta give a guy a heads up next time you're doing another Mando one, because or Boba, because I'm a diehard Mando Boba guy, and always love me some and your work just blends so well with it. I love it. Absolutely love it.
There's also an Instagram of the exhibit, the Return of the Force. It's all together, and that's kind of a lot of the.
Yeah. So I got to say, I'm super jelly for sure. Tate Fletcher, that's pretty darn cool. He's played a lot of memorable roles in Star Wars, and that's pretty cool.
Heck yeah! So we had the exhibit in Durango. And when we did the show there, they gave us a week a week to paint all those images on the wall.
Oh, wow.
Standing with Tate Fletcher.
Yeah.
At Walker. And so Tate Fletcher, I reached out to him. We started talking and we connected, and he became a really good friend of ours. And for that exhibit, he had just gotten back from Australia, I believe. And he was asking when the opening for the Durango show was going to be. And we told him, and he's like, I'll be there. And he was like, I don't want to be like on a panel or anything. I just want to be there and hang out. And he's like, but you can let people know that I'm there. And so he was really nice. He talked to everybody. He was just signing autographs, just, casually. So it was a pretty good time. And he's been a big support as well throughout the whole experience. So it's been really, really nice meeting him. Recently, I found Sam found a Mandalorian a Paz Vesla in was it at Target?
Walmart.
At Walmart. So I said, get 2 of them. So she got 2 of them, and I asked Mr. Fletcher if he would sign them for me if I sent him. He's like, yeah, send them through. So he did a video of him signing one. I got one, and then I did one for her youngest son, Thomas, and he signed them, and he actually gave us what are they? The Funko Pop. Mm-hmm. He gave us 2 Funko Pops, 2 of the Paz Vesla, and signed those as well.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's definitely someone I'd love to meet. He's on that list of like people I'd love to interview, because and it's always funny. The people that play the meanest people on screen tend to be the nicest people in real life, right?
Yeah, when I looked at him, I started opening my eyes a little more and saw that he was on like The Equalizer and Breaking Bad and John Wick. Like I always see him pop up, and I'm like, I'll record it, and I'll be like, "This you?" And he's like, "Yep." And I was like, man, it amazes me. Like, I mean, all the people he's worked with and all the shots that he's been in. So
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so Return of the Force. Tell us a little bit about that.
I'll let Sam's really good at explaining this part, so I'm gonna give it to her on this.
Right on.
So the first iteration was called The Forces with Our People, and that was kind of stemming from some wording that was on t-shirts that were being created by an artist in our region, their t-shirt company being Reclaim Designs. So Tony Thibodeau, the first curator of the first installation that was at the Museum of Northern Arizona, we were kind of going with that. But then Duane and Tony, and then I believe some input from another artist that's featured in the exhibit, Jason Garcia, they came up with the Return of the Force. And this installation at this latest one was at Tempe Center for the Arts. Previous to that, it was at the Center of Southwest Studies in Durango, Colorado. So essentially what happened is so many people were reaching out, and they were saying, we missed the first installation in Flagstaff. Like, we would love for you to travel it. Like, the people just wanted more. And Tony, being, of course, a busy person, he's a director of collections and research at a museum. Like, that's such a big job. Didn't really have the full time that it would take to travel and exhibit and kind of do that work. So him being someone who's familiar with Duane's work and knowing that Duane really has the drive and like the desire to travel it, he worked directly with Duane to kind of get him set up, and then me as support. Shout out to Lee Francis, Manuelito Wheeler, who are also people who contributed text that was supporting as well in the exhibit, but really being able to work directly with the artists who were in the first installation, and then incorporating more artwork into each exhibit as it's traveled. So at Fort Lewis, and then now at Tempe Center for the Arts, that was in Tempe, Arizona. But yeah, it being an exhibit that was incredibly popular, continues to be incredibly popular, but really bringing to light the artwork of these amazing artists and their perspectives. and talking to them and seeing what Star Wars means to them and being able to include that in the text panels and panel discussions and kind of demonstrations. So it's been a really amazing experience, and people have loved it because, of course, Star Wars just resonates with so many people.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely, absolutely, without doubt. Has there ever been any discussion about possibly taking the show on the road?
Yeah, so like Samantha was saying, it's been that's Tony right there on
Okay.
the left.
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah. So he's a original creator of this exhibit, and like Sam was saying, it gained a lot of popularity, and a lot of it also came from us traveling the R2 unit to schools. We've taken it to Temecula, California, a lot of places, museums, and they're always inquiring about this exhibit if it's ever going to travel. So Tony kind of, in a nutshell, just said, if you're willing to curate, let's do it. So Tony still has a big influence on this as we travel it, and so we've taken it to Durango, Colorado, who we were good friends with. So I kind of thought that maybe they would bring it in to kind of get a jump start, so I could document that it's going to be traveling, and it did just that. And after that, we were able to land in Tempe, Arizona, and now we're working on going to the Mayak in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And we've been talking to the Idol George Museum in Indianapolis.
Oh,
They want to get it in 2027. So it's definitely making its impact. We got support from Lucasfilm, because a lot of people always ask about, is there any controversy with Star Wars and, what you're doing. So I had the chance to meet with them, and we were able to discuss what the details were on this, and they just want to be kind of informed too as it travels, just to, I guess, for their own doings or whatever. So but yeah, they definitely said they gave us a green light, and so now we're comfortably traveling it now.
oh, that's awesome. That's great news, because we live way up in northern Michigan, and I would drive hours. I definitely would drive hours if that got anywhere near us, and I know the whole crew would for sure, because that everything we're seeing is just absolutely amazing on here.
There's a professor that works at the University of Michigan, and what is the class that he teaches?
I can't remember, but it's in the history of art department.
And he incorporates Star Wars kind of like from the cultural perspective, like Samantha was talking about. So he's a big Star Wars fan as well. I remember Samantha saying that he had the Ralph McQuarrie book with all his illustrations.
Mm-hmm.
So when Samantha had mentioned that, I showed him the helmet that I did, so he was really blown away. But he brought us out to speak to his class. He came to Durango, Colorado to see the exhibit when it was up there, and he brought us to the University of Michigan and kind of just really elaborated on the exhibit. So his I think his next goal, he says, is he really wants to bring Hopi R2 to Michigan for his class, and being able to continue to talk about more.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. That's awesome. Yeah, and we're about 3.5 hours north of there.
Oh,
So yeah, right on. So I mean, oh man, that'd be very cool. I'll have to look him up too. Oh, what is this?
Andy Everson. If you ever get a chance to look at his page, man, his stuff is amazing too.
That's cool.
Andy Everson.
Andy Everson. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got a good thing going here. This is really cool, and yeah, I wish you guys the best of luck, and anything we can do to help promote it. If you guys do get more of a regular schedule of getting this on the road, let us know. We will definitely pump it up as much as possible on our end. because it's just amazing, and it's very cool stuff.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let's and so anyway, definitely, for listeners, and if you're watching, come and check out Duane's Instagram, check out Return of the Force's Instagram. They're both linked, so if you get to one, you can get to the other, and definitely give them a follow so you can stay up to speed on what's going on with those as well. Any upcoming items, cool things, projects you're working on?
As far as like Star Wars items, nothing yet. For the new exhibits, usually we try to create new pieces. Some of the artists do sell their items.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they're all up for sale. They just stay throughout the duration of the exhibit. So some of the artists do sell their stuff, like those Bogarts that you were showing, those silver ones, they're all for sale.
Those are dope.
But usually on an exhibit, I try to create something new. The artists will also come up with something new as well. So it's always exciting for a new exhibit. So I think closer to the new one, I'll start doing that. But right now, I'm kind of booked with some mural projects.
Oh, very cool.
Working on a lot of those as well. So
local, or do you have to travel for those?
I'm doing one here in Flagstaff right now, local, and then I'll be doing a big one out on the Hopi Reservation, which is about an hour and a half northeast from where we're at in Flagstaff.
Okay.
And then I got one possibly cooking in Sedona, Arizona, which is about a 45-minute drive south, going towards Phoenix. So yeah, I'm just kind of busy with that, trying to keep up with my garden, my farming, and we got ceremonies happening as well. So
very cool. So I want to tie. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was about to tie back to that, because Samantha had mentioned it at the beginning or earlier in the episode, which was mentioned that you're a traditional farmer. So tell us a little bit about that if you got a minute to do so.
Yeah, so like Sam and I were saying, a lot of the Hopi life kind of revolves around farming. Again, like the moisture, like rain, snow. A lot of our songs are Hopi songs are in regards of these, I guess, elements. And for good life, it teaches a lot of discipline to being able to be there and take care of your crops. So yeah, each year around the same time of year, a lot of the Hopi men will plant their farms. And cool thing is like we teach like our youth, like our kids, like Samantha's two boys are learning the process from her uncles, and also me as well. So it's a thing that kind of just gets passed on from generation to generation, and just basically really trying to sustain our Hopi culture and our life. So we plant corn, squash, beans, man, what else?
We did chilies, tomatoes this year.
Tomatoes. So it's just kind of, like I said, a discipline. Teaches us, a lot, and how to take care of what we need to. And like I was saying in the beginning, with our creator and Hopi, we were basically agreed to be stewards of the land. So taking care of the land, we look at our crop as like our children. So like a child, you tend to them, you take care of them and help them grow as well. So a lot of mind and thought and spirit goes into this effort to, produce a good crop. And then of course, a lot of that goes to the women, and they do their part. And so it's a big cycle.
Right on. Yeah. My wife's tribe, they several years ago, they started community gardens, and they started teaching more. And then I have a small garden in our backyard that I started a couple of years ago, and they do plant distribution, which is really nice. So we'll get, some plants from them, which go into the garden, which is nice. This year they were able to offer. So up here, fishing is a big thing with the tribes up here. So we actually got some fish fertilizer as well, which was really nice.
Cool.
For the garden. And you get some sweetgrass along with they'll usually have that for distribution. So we've been trying to grow that. Have not had much luck getting it to grow on my land, but we're still working on it. There's something about it, right? Working the land, watching those plants grow, taking care of them. And there's just something about reconnecting.
Yeah, short story real quick. I remember my nephew, he was he's grown up in the city majority of his life, and he stayed with me for a good while, probably a couple of years, I would say. And when we were going to go plant, he was just not having it. And I have a big field, and he was he just did not want it. And I recall being the same way as a kid. And it's just being out in the sun and work, and you're just And so we planted, and he stuck it out. He did it. And I think the joy really came, and it was a big eye opener when he started seeing the plants come up, and he was kind of man, I planted that, and he saw the outcome. And I think a big part of it too, the joy also is when you get a good crop, it goes, like I said, to the ladies. So being able to give some crops to Sam, my sister, and my aunts, you kind of get a little esteem when you're able to do this. And so that's what happened with him. And he was very proud, and it just has that effect. And it kind of, I mean, it gives me the chills right now just talking about it, and it's a good feeling. So
right on. Yeah. And we share as much as my wife always makes me plant too many tomato plants. So we share a lot of tomatoes, and we usually, and actually we do really well with zucchini and squash. I mean, I'm getting zucchini that are, like that.
Yeah.
And we share a lot of that. So I know what you're talking about. We give that plentiful bounty to others to share. And then I really rediscovered, I didn't like eating broccoli as a kid, but man, broccoli from the garden.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'll eat everything. I'll fight for garden broccoli, because that stuff is just phenomenal. Eat it all the way down to the stalk and everything, because it's just there's just something about it. Yeah, right on.
Nice.
Right on. Well, thank you for sharing that. Where can, as we start to wrap up, where can our viewers and our listeners find you and all your artwork?
You can find some videos on YouTube if you want to look at Hopi R2. There's that. You can look there. Also on Instagram, Duane Koyawena Arts, DuaneKoyawena Arts. You'll find me on Instagram. I usually keep up with current things that I'm doing in my story. Also on Facebook, I have an art page as well. It's Duane Koyawena Arts. Also, if you search that, you'll be able to find me as well. So I'm more of an Instagram guy though. So yep, that's me.
Right on. Facebook's giving me a little of a fit on my computer, so I'm bringing it up on the phone for you guys. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely give them a follow on your social media of choice, Instagram and Facebook. Give them a follow. Duane and Samantha, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. You two are welcome back anytime. Again, you guys, and I follow you on the social, so I'm going to be definitely, I'd love to repost, share with our guests that have been on the show before. And we'll definitely, anytime you guys want to come back on, if you got new projects, new things you want to show up, if you just want to nerd out on Star Wars or anything else, you guys are always welcome to come on the show. And as part of that, all of our guests that appear on the show become honorary members. You might have heard me when I signed into the program, I called myself Brown Leader. So we do a little thing on the show. We do call signs and stuff, and all of our guests become honorary members of Brown Squadron. And with that, for appearing on the show, you get a flight designation and a call sign. And all of our call signs, and you guys, since you're Air Force brats, you understand a call sign, right? And so anytime you come back on the show, you're welcome to sign in as a member of Brown Squadron. And so here are your flight designations and your call signs. So we always dig deep into Star Wars. We try to find something in Star Wars to relate to the person that's on the show. And so, Duane, you're now Brown 80 and call sign Wren, as in Sabine Wren, who I think anybody that's watched Rebels know what an artist she is. And we figured that would be a good relation, Wren, as your call sign. For that. And then Samantha, Brown 81, and we picked Kasdan, and where Kasdan comes from. For those that don't know, Kasdan is the writer. He is Lawrence Kasdan was the writer of Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and a lot of stuff that he's got a very storied credentials in screenwriting, but especially our love of Star Wars. But he wrote some of the best movies that we've known and loved. So Kasdan, call sign Kasdan. Yeah, so welcome to the crew. And like I said, you two are welcome back anytime you want to come on to the show. We've got open spots for you guys.
All right. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, okay. Well, thanks for coming on the show. Again, give them a follow, give Duane a follow on Facebook, Instagram. As for Brown Squadron, you know where to find us. We're on all the socials. You can DM us on all of them. You can find all of our links at beacons.ai/Brown Squadron. Don't forget to give us a follow on one of those services. Smash the like button, as Vincent always says on the show. And you can always email us also at brownsquadron@gmail.com. Well, guys, Samantha, Duane, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And so this is Brown Leader signing off for the crew. And you have been listening and watching Hyperspace Heroes. That's no moon.
Was it good for you?